I am your host, Rico, and today I am joined by a passionate artist, nonprofit founder, man of faith, definitely, and a really awesome event partner for this year's artist showcase. So,
Oh,
Alfonso Flowers, thank you so much for being here.
thank you for having me, Rico. It's totally amazing, even though you've been clowning me for the last couple of weeks. It's good. It's good. I like it. I like it. And yes, you're an amazing partner. I am glad that you said, you know what, come on and work with me. So, you're teaching me a lot because you really got your stuff down and you're out there, and I absolutely love it. I love it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I don't meet people all the time where I'm just like, I can for sure see myself working with that person. And as soon as you came up to me, I was just like, yeah, that can for sure work. And so I've just been amazed that we've been able to get done what we have in this kind of relatively short period of time that we've like
Mhm.
really been like on the ground and grinding. But today I definitely wanted to allow the people to get to know more of your artistic side because it's amazing and your work is so great. So I wanted to start off with a question on when you think sorry, when did you know that you wanted to become an artist? Like was there like one pinnacle moment or was
Mhm.
there moments for you that just kind of like built up to this like big aha moment for you?
You know what's funny about that is it is an aha moment because when I was younger, I was into drawing like oriental paintings, like the silk paintings and everything. I would draw them for my mother. She loved like China. And I would draw like Luke Cage Power Man for my dad and all that stuff. So I really loved to draw back in the days. But then, as time went on, it wasn't something like in today's society where if you're artistic, people didn't push that. It was you need to find something that's going to get you paid. Don't
Mhm.
explore your creative side. So, believe it or not, 2022, I think right 2021, just right before COVID hit, I was looking at publishing my second book, Affliction, and I was wondering, I wanted to do butterflies. So I got all these butterflies, paid for them, and put them in the book because, I kind of self published my stuff. And I was like, it's not working. So my manager at the time, she was like, let's go do a paint and sip for our like group outing and stuff. And I was like, you know what, that would be kind of cool. Let's do it.
Mhm.
So I drew my first little painting and drew my first little thing, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna paint my own because I heard that they do everything for it. And I got there and I was like, I brought my sketch. She was like, oh, you gonna do your thing? I said, look, if I'm going in, I'm going in.
Oh yeah.
Once I finished, it was actually the Lord that told me. He said, the next ones are gonna be all paintings from you. I've never painted before, and from then just concepts came, and once those hit, I stopped, and then I just kept it continued and fell in love with it. That's kind of what Beautiful Excellence is about. It's just the artistic side. I just never thought that was my aha moment. Like,
Mhm.
what? Where's this coming from? And I was just tripping. I'm not gonna say what I was just getting ready gonna say because I know you got jokes coming behind that.
No, no, no. I want to hear. I want to hear.
No, no. It wasn't a middle age crisis. It wasn't me trying to get in touch with the young boy in me. It just came out. So I beat you to the punch. No, girl, listen, why are you playing? But that's how it came to be. And I fell in love with it. And so in that book, you actually get to see original paintings. I didn't know how to format it, so I just put it in there as best as I can because I just love the idea of being creative and just I'm not so much a perfectionist, even though I work for better all the time. But I believe in like, this is your authentic you, what came out, and put it in there. Don't be ashamed of it. Let people see it. And to me, I love it. So that's how it kind of came about.
Awesome. And I kind of remember you touching base on that a little bit last year, but awesome to hear like a lot deeper explanation into that. And I know for you, faith is like a really big part of who you are in your life. So what like around that time that you you knew that you wanted to be a pastor, and then you a little bit later you knew you wanted to be an artist. Like, how does like that intersect for you? Like, what does that look like? How much of your faith informs your art, or for you is that two totally different, separate lanes of your life that you like walk in between, or kind of jump back and forth into?
That I think it was more of a conundrum, to be honest with you. I wrestled with it. It wasn't probably until maybe last year that I finally had some type of peace with it, because when you think of faith and you have people that, write books, or their photos or their imagery, it's everything like super, I don't want to say the wrong word, but it's just like super fluffy, right?
Yeah.
Flowery. Okay, if I can use those words. And to me, my faith doesn't look flowery. I came to Christ young, but after my mother died at 15, she was the one that pushed me in the arts, first of all. So she really embraced my writing, really embraced my creative side, dancing, singing, all that stuff. But when she died when I was 15, man, the life was just on me. Let's say that. I just had some crazy experiences because, you know what, they were my boys and we are out there wilding out, partying, doing all that stuff. So when I really came and got into church and really just started reading my Bible, because I was always a believer, all the experiences I had weren't flowery. Nothing about my life is flowery but my last name, Flowers. That's the only thing. So when it came to writing my books and stuff, I was writing about love. I was writing about experiences of love, coming into maturity. But of course, everything was based off of a Christian perspective, but intertwining that understanding with what I've been through and bringing it out. To me, it just in the community that I was in, being the church community, it
Mhm.
wasn't well received. They just thought it was a bunch of love stuff. So when it comes to the paintings and so forth, I would see images, like I think you have one on the backdrop. I would see images that relate to a side of me or a love for something, but has to do with a message, right? So it has to do with, this is life with God, but expressed through your trials, your ups, your downs, times of love and stuff like that. So it's always been kind of, should I do this? Is it going to be offensive? And it just never really seemed to match until it was about last year. It really, once I started painting more and seeing the messages behind what I do and seeing the writings and how these paintings are just coming out of nowhere, and they're expressive in today's time, in today's voice, in today's imagery, quasi today's imagery. I'm able to explain it and stuff. So now I'm at peace with it and I'm excited. Let's talk about it now. Let's move. Let's get some other people tapped into their voice on the inside, to their experiences, but in a creative way, expressing it different, because this world today is just like everything's so dark and
Mhm.
raunchy and all that stuff. Man, I mean, it's just not to my liking because of know where I came from or where it can lead to. But I want to do something on a different level that way.
And speaking of some of your inspiration, are there any topics that you touch on either with your writing or in your paintings, that coming into your creative space, like you initially was like, well, I would never like talk
Mm,
about that, or I would
mm.
never, paint or draw that. Like, are there any things that like you now are more comfortable with that you weren't necessarily in the beginning?
You are asking some serious questions today, ain't you? What you
Hey,
say?
I want to know. The people want to know.
So I think one of the greatest things is love. So I mean, there's many different forms of expressions of love. If you want to break it down in Greek, which I'm not going to do, I do know the names, but you got the familial love, friendship love. You have erotica. That's a love that, in its natural sense, should be between a husband and wife. You've got agape love, unconditional love, sturdy love, all that stuff. So when you're talking about love from the heart, A lot of times you run into those taboo areas because why? As a believer, you're never supposed to do anything. Well, I can't say that about my life, but I do know the love of God has forgiven me and brought me to a place of maturity. So talking about some of those things, and not in a quote unquote erotic way, but a very real way,
Mhm.
right? I think that caused a lot of tension. I've even had some people love the book, but they were like, okay, so you was talking about this, right? Well, with poetry, you could take it anyway. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But when I have a chance to explain what I'm talking about, I'm able to bring it into a more, in my opinion, fruitful way. I mean, it's not far off, but it's interpreted per individual, right? So writing that was very difficult, and that's why I say it didn't translate a lot. I write about just struggles. I was raised in Arizona, so we had a lot of racism, undercover racism out there. We're marching for the King's Day, the last state to do it. I had some songs on the radio because I really love to. I used to rap back in the days. I love music, write songs, all that. Don't you even go there.
No,
See,
no. I
the
was I
most
was thinking like, okay, so then one of these upcoming artist showcases, I'm gonna need you to hear some of
Ooh,
those rhymes.
you're hecka funny. You're hecka funny. Okay. Oh, look, I'm gonna have to prepare because I know you. You're gonna do something. I know. And so, in expressing that in some of my rights, especially the book Affliction, I kind of talk more from we call it Afrocentric point of view. So it's a very to the point of listen, you don't have to be bound. You can break free. I don't care what the man is saying, the system is saying. So it has that undertone to it. So, but then I again correlated to faith, and coming out of struggle and bondage and stuff like that. So that could be that way. My paintings. Um, I know this is going to sound funny, but when I started, like the first one, you know what? I just happen to have it right here. This is my very first one. So if you look at this is the one that I drew when I went to the painting sip.
Okay.
So it is actually called Bone of My Bone and Flesh of My Flesh. So I love black folk, and I'm not prejudiced about anybody, but
Yeah.
the fro, the afros and stuff that I paint means something to me, right?
Yeah.
That shows glory, strength, power, pride, culture, a people that is so different and unique and beautiful that you can't not see it, right? But it's the picture of a woman being pulled out of the side of a rib of Adam. But of course, it's
Mhm.
art, so she ain't gonna be on the side. But the
Right.
heart is more like the earth, the womb. But it also shows that man comes from woman, because only God created the woman from man. But now the woman produces man as
Yep.
reproduction. So I painted it, and people were tripping out because, of course, I'm showing stuff.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, he's this and he's that. No, it's not. I'm not that. So I had to get used to painting the woman's anatomy, which, in my opinion, I'm attracted to women because I'm a
Mhm.
man, right?
Yeah.
So it means something to me, right? And I find messages from that. It's not. I don't find messages in an erotic way, but in a life-giving way. So when I'm painting, I have that message on the undertone. Now, that's probably the most explicit painting that I have. But even in shaping of the anatomy, um, a lot of people say, "Oh, wow, she has breasts." Well, women have breasts. Hello, it's in the shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you want? A flat board? She's not a man.
I
Hello.
mean, there's some women. I mean, we come in all shapes and sizes. So
You do. You do. And I got some up here that do that, but come on now.
yeah.
That's one of the distinguishing factors
Yes.
between a woman and a man. But it's not like it's overly anything. It's
Mhm.
just that it's weird when you're in the community the church community, how they tend to see certain things, and they are focusing on that and miss the whole picture. Whereas some of my stuff was in a museum, which the Lord let me be blessed with. Like, and I'm like, for real though? But when
That's
you're in
awesome
that
though.
community, they have a totally different,
Yeah.
and they're looking at what I did and even deeper. And I'm like, wow, I never even thought about, and a lot of it was never sexual.
Yeah.
And that was something that really messed me up. if I could say that.
Yeah.
So those type things are interesting to me, and it was a challenge. And I love faces, so you'll see one of my paintings. I haven't showed you that, but I have a lot of faces, like on microphones or on trumpets and stuff like that, because I believe that we're instruments, but then we also leave impressions, and the things that we create have a voice. So I kind of have that undertone behind it when you see stuff like the one that you have right here with the one with the guitar. That's what I'm seeing and want to share. But yeah, that's challenging.
Yes. I can definitely see how it will be challenging, especially because um, when you first start like creating art, you're just like, well, I'm going to show it to the people that's closest to me because like they're the most accessible audience. But the thing about like that I found out about art is not everything is for everybody and
Mm,
for every audience. And so until you actually do find your audience, like it's very easy for people to like misinterpret and like and think in like really specific ways about like things that you might not even have been trying to convey and what you're doing because it's so subjective based on like
mhm,
their perspective, like how they're feeling that day, if they ate breakfast or not, and like if they're like are grumpy and not grumpy and sad or happy, all the things. And so um, part of it for me, it's like when I look at your work, it's like it's the symbolism for such a deeper meaning is there that like just looking at it on the surface is like then you're not getting the point of what it is that you're trying to say because
right.
none of it is like surface level. And so it's just like, oh, like yes, it's a form of a female or of a woman, but it's deeper than that.
Mhm,
So it's just like once you get past that, then it's easier to actually like find the context. But unless like you are used to finding context in art, I can for sure
mhm,
see just looking at it on the surface, oh, this is just what it is.
mhm.
Um, but thank you again for that because when you were talking, I'm like, yes, like I totally understand.
I mean,
As
you hit it on the head, though,
mhm,
Ronika. You said I love to share stuff,
mhm,
so I need to hear from my family. I need to hear what my boys, blah, 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 blah. And the reception, when they voiced their opinion and I could see what they really saying, it really did something to me. It made me feel some type of way because it was just put off like, oh, he's just going through a phase. You know what I
mhm,
mean?
yeah.
Until there was somebody that could see something different like yourself, and they came in and really started drawing out what was in there, and I didn't tell them. Oh, that blew my mind. I was
Mhm,
like, oh, real quick, and I know we got to go, but like one of the uh he was a bishop that came down when I had the opening of B. And when he came to my house, because he was going to speak at our church, I had all my paintings up and stuff. And he went through each and every single one of them things and just began to open them up. He was a painter and I didn't know it. So what he did is he went back to his estate in Virginia and he started painting sips and stuff like that and just promoting it and talking about it and used it as a tool. I said, this is bananas. But that's all the way across the water.
yeah, yeah.
I just met him. I didn't, I wouldn't have showed him anything if he wasn't family first. So what you're saying is incredible, man. And I'm still trying to navigate through that. But
And speaking of B, I actually prepared for this by going back to your website and like all of like your social media. And what I noticed is like your nonprofit, BE Beautiful Excellence, has such a powerful, multifaceted mission. And just looking at like its core elements, like why do you think it's so important for people to have positive self-talk as they work on things like healing and personal
Mhm.
growth and character building as young people and adults alike? What does that come from for you?
I think it's very important, even if you're not looking at it from a faith perspective. For me, it's always been that. But even on just a natural plane, if you will, just us as humans, we have to be able to tap into what's deeper. A lot of people aren't introspective like that, but after losing a mother, after making some crazy decisions in my life, after suffering through and really dealing with the truth of having faith in Christ, what He did, and then looking at yourself, it could be very perplexing. And we can have a bend to this or a bend to that. We could use philosophy, science. We could try to use all of this stuff to make sense of what we're going through. Well, through writing, that helped me get out a lot of stuff that I couldn't in conversation. And it helped me to see me on paper. And then if I needed to make adjustments, I could go back and make adjustments or deal with the rationale of, wow, dude, you're really on one. You need to really check this, right? So it helped me to see that. With the art, it was the same thing, but then it actually brought out a lighter side of me, and it allowed me to see that, wow, you really love some other things that maybe we were put in boxes to enjoy. Like peer pressure is real. I don't care what anybody says, right?
Oh yeah,
You
yes it
grow
is.
up and people see you a certain way, they expect certain thing, and they'll kind of push you to get you to become that, when in your heart of heart you're like, nah, I'm not down with this, but
Mhm.
just to be accepted, right? So the art and the writing and the expression of music and getting out what's in, man, that is so healing on any level. Um, my level just happened to have the faith aspect to it, so I'm just gauging my life off of a different standard, and I'm looking at it according to that standard and seeing that, wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it helps you, right? So what B wants to do is to help everyone find that voice, and just to bring it out wherever you are, and to really look at those hard questions that we have to face, that we have to see within ourselves, so the world doesn't color it, or the world doesn't push us into a box that really isn't designed for us. It's just that we think we relate to that more than what's really on the inside. Or, like you said before, we haven't found the
Yeah.
space to really be who we need to be and who we should be and how to be expressive. And that's not to take it all the way to the left or all the way to the right. I'm talking about a balance, a healthy balance, not a balance that just lightweight 9 times out of 10 will come into rebellion or I'm approved it. Nah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a solid balance, right? So I hope that made sense, but I think it absolutely important. Again, losing my mother, 15, that was probably the major thing. But then making decisions in relationship, not understanding my heart, not understanding why I always didn't fit in. I can glove people, I can learn, I can do what you asked me to do. But when it came to really walking in the authority of who I am, I've always had to fight for that. That's why I said my life isn't flowery.
Mhm.
It's hard for people to follow me, or I see a vision they don't want to do. They want to fight against me. I know about, no, I know what I want and desire.
Mhm.
Having that thing happen and becoming who I am has been a tremendous challenge. When we grow up hearing, if you're a good follower, you'll make a good leader. Well, look, I was there before and after everybody giving my all. And now that I'm leading, I'm still doing that. And I'm like, well, what the heck? What's going
Yeah.
on? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I believe knowing who you are is so important. And the arts is a great way to bring that
Okay. Well, as usual, our time came up really quickly, but
out.
I want people to be able to continue this conversation with you in person. So, can you go ahead and let everyone know where they can go online or even in person to stay updated with like what you have going on as BE, your nonprofit, or just on the more creative art tip before and after the artist showcase?
Absolutely. You can go actually to our website. It's called beautifulexcellence.org. Just type that out. We have all of our information there. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to get in contact. You'll be able to see a little bit of what we're doing. I have another website which is called Arts and Faith, and that's where all my paintings are. Artsandfaith.com, and that's where all my paintings are. You can actually reach me through there also and see some of the works that I do. What else? Or b.e.916 at outlook.com. That's my email. You can hit me there if you want to know more and want to talk again. Beautifulexcellence.org. That's probably where you have all the forms that you can contact me. And right now, I just have my numbers. I don't know if I should give my number, but you could contact me there and I could get back to you until I get a number that's more business oriented. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, those are some great stops, and we would love to hear from you if you want to work with us. Again, we're just starting up. We're going to be at June 8th with at Art in the Park with the Rico's Corner here, Renika, and we're going to have a great time. We had a great time last year, and we got so many different vendors out there. We got some music, we got food trucks. I mean, it's just going to be a wonderful time for the family and the community out there. And, we invite you. I don't know the address to it. I'm sorry about that. But we're going to be out there. And it's off of Routier Drive, I believe it is.
Yeah, it's a Lincoln Village Park. And
Lincoln
I
Village.
love that you went ahead and did it. Like I was literally about to do that, but hey,
Oh, oh,
I'm gonna let you cook.
oh.
No, I love it. I love it. Yeah,
I
I
think
really do.
it's gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Lincoln Village Park, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Come out. We have artists that are going to be there. You're going to be able to paint your own. We have a vendor out there. It's paid. Now you got to come do that one, but please
Mhm.
don't get discouraged about that because it's going to be a setting where you can do your own painting there out there in the park. Bring your family. Wonderful time. Just to meet all the different vendors, educational vendors are going to be there, artists and so forth. So come on out, eat some food, have a good time, put on your sunscreen and your big hats and your shorts, and let's have a good time and see us there. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful.
All right. Well, that's the new commercial for the event. Thanks so much for recording that. So, um, I love it. So, I've been Rico. That you've heard like an amazing story of the inspirations and the life motivations from Alfonso Flowers. I will have a booth at the artist showcase. So, also come by, say hi. And until the 23rd, I'll be, which when I will be back for Rico's Corner with Creatively Carrie, who coincidentally will be leading the paint party. So you don't want to miss that. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.